morning, my dearest friends, and welcome to this Sunday's reflection. Today is the fifth Sunday of Easter. Our liturgy of the word today is taken from Acts of the Apostles chapter 6, verses 1 to 7, 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 4 to 9, and the Gospel of St. John chapter 14, verses 1 to 12. The theme of our reflection this morning is taken from the Gospel of St. John, precisely chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life. These words are theologically profound and they have eschatological implications and application for every Christian. Jesus makes assertions that nobody else ever made, and that is the difference between him and those who came before him and those who came after him. He says, I am the way and the truth and the life. What does Jesus mean when he says, I am the way? The word way, as used in the scripture, has a metaphorical sense. It oftentimes designates a way of life or conduct. Jesus is not saying, I will teach you the way, I will show you the way. He says, I am the way. No one comes to the Father except through me. The same verse, John 14, verse 6. So Christ is the way. Every Christian life, every human life on earth is a journey. A journey from earth to heaven, a journey from time to eternity, a journey from the material world to the spiritual world. And when you make a journey, you must pass through a way. There must be a way of life, a conduct that everyone who is on that journey must take. And Jesus today tells us that he is that way. The second thing he also said, he said, I am the truth. When you have a way, you must have certain principles that will guide that way of life, that conduct that you want to show. Certain principles, certain knowledge must guide that. And that is the truth that Jesus talks about. St. Paul, in his letter to the Colossians, chapter 2, verse 3, tells us that in Jesus are found all hidden treasures of wisdom and knowledge. And so Jesus saying, I am the truth, is telling us that he is also the principle that way of life we want to embrace must come to mind. And finally he says, I am the life. Jesus already tells us in John chapter 10, verse 10. He says, I came that they may have life and have it more abundantly. You may have this way of life, this conduct. You may know these principles for this way of life. But the manner you live it out, that living out of that way of life, of that principle, that is the life that Jesus speaks about. And only him can give this life. In our previous reflection, we talked about the different kinds of life, bios, suke, and zoe. Jesus is telling us that he is life, the zoe, that whoever chooses him, whoever has him, and the first letter of St. John chapter 5, verses 11 to 12 tells us that whoever has Jesus has this life. So Jesus saying, I am the way, the truth, and the life, is a deep theological assertion that calls for reflection, to ponder, and has implications for all of us. The question for you and me from this particular passage, this assertion of Jesus is, what way am I taking? How do I conduct myself? Am I taking the way of addiction, thinking that I will find satisfaction? Am I taking the way of the world that promises empty emptiness? Or are we taking the way of Jesus that is sure, that is certain, that will lead us to the destination that all of us are journeying towards? What is the truth that is guiding your way of life? Yes, many professors, priests, teachers, scientists impart truth. But Jesus is telling us that he's not only teaching about truth, that he is the truth. Do we find Jesus as that one, that embodiment of the way, the truth, and the life that we need to embrace? And finally, we cannot live a fulfilled life, a happy life, here on earth and irrevocably in heaven without Jesus. So the question of Thomas to Jesus today, asking Jesus, show us the Father, is also a question that should bother each and every one of us. How do we go to the Father? How do we reach the Father? Jesus has given us the solution. He is the solution. Jesus is the solution to our journey of life on earth into our destination. Let us ask the Lord today to grant us the grace to understand the mysteries of his revelation, because he is the fullness of revelation, that we may accept him, the way, the truth, and the life, so that our life here will be fulfilling, fruitful, and also we will reach our destination where God awaits us. May the Lord bless his words in our hearts.